$10 a day. That's $300 a month. In 40 years, invested, that becomes over $1 million. You didn't need a raise. You needed a decision. But here's what's strange. You've probably heard something like this before. Maybe a friend mentioned it. Maybe you saw a video. And yet, most people still haven't started. Not because they can't afford $10 a day, but because something in their brain quietly says, that's too small to matter. That voice is costing you a fortune, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. Let's be honest about something. When most people hear invest $10 a day and become a millionaire, the first reaction isn't excitement, it's skepticism. $10? That's nothing. That won't move the needle. I'll start when I have more money. This is one of the most expensive thought patterns a person can carry. And it's not about laziness or ignorance. It's about how the human brain is wired. We are built to respond to things that feel significant right now. A single $10 bill feels trivial. Dropping $500 at once feels like a real move. But wealth doesn't work that way. Wealth is built in the background, quietly, consistently, invisibly, until one day the numbers on a screen stop looking real. The problem isn't the $10. The problem is that your brain cannot naturally visualize exponential growth. We think in straight lines. Compound interest moves in a curve. And that gap between how we think and how money actually grows is where most people's financial futures quietly disappear. So let's make the invisible visible. You start investing $10 a day. That's $3,650 a year. You put it into a simple index fund, something that tracks the world's biggest companies. And historically, over long periods, that grows at roughly 8% per year on average. Year 1, you have around $3,900. Nothing dramatic. Year 5, just over $23,000. Still feels manageable. Year 10, you're sitting at roughly $54,000. Now it's starting to feel real. Year 20, over $178,000. You've personally contributed $73,000. The rest, more than $100,000, was built by your money working while you slept. Year 30, $440,000. You put in $109,500. The market gave you the rest. Year 40, over $1 million. From $10 a day. Here's the part most people miss. Look at where the real growth happens. The first decade feels slow. The second decade wakes up. The third and fourth decade, that's where compounding stops being a concept and starts being a life-changing force. Time is not just a factor here. Time is the investment. Meet Alex and Jordan. Same age, same income, same city. Two completely different financial futures. Not because of talent, not because of luck, but because of one decision made in their 20s. Alex starts at 22. Nothing flashy. No financial background. Just $10 a day into an index fund. Automated. Forgotten about. Alex doesn't check it obsessively. Doesn't try to time the market. Just lets it run. Jordan watches. Thinks about starting. Tells himself he'll begin when things settle down. When the salary goes up. When the rent situation improves, when life feels more stable. At 25, something always comes up. At 28, there's a wedding to save for. At 32, a car. At 35, Jordan finally starts, but now invests $50 a day to make up for lost time. Fast forward to age 65. Alex invested $10 a day for 43 years. Total personal contribution. Roughly $157,000. Jordan invested $50 a day for 30 years. Total personal contribution, roughly $547,000. Alex ends up with more money. Let that land for a second. Jordan invested 3 times more money and still lost. Not because $50 a day is a bad move, but because 13 years of compounding cannot be bought back at any price. The years Alex had between 22 and 35, those were the most valuable years in the entire equation, and Jordan spent them waiting. The most dangerous financial decision isn't a bad investment, it's the decision to wait. So why does Jordan wait? Why do most people wait? Because the answer isn't financial, it's psychological. $10 doesn't feel like an investment, it feels like rounding error. Our brains anchor to large, visible numbers. A $10,000 lump sum feels like investing. $10 a day feels like a hobby. But the math doesn't care about feelings. $10 a day compounded over decades outperforms many single large investments made later in life. The smallness isn't a weakness, it's a disguise. Here's another psychological phenomenon researchers have studied extensively. Most people feel almost no emotional connection to their future self. When you imagine yourself at 65, your brain lights up in patterns similar to imagining a stranger, not you, a stranger. This is why saving for retirement feels abstract. You're not saving for you. Emotionally, it doesn't feel that way. You're sending money to someone you don't recognize yet. But that person at 65 will wake up every single morning. They will have bills. They will have needs. They will feel everything you feel right now. The only difference is they will have no ability to go back and change the decisions you're making today. You are the only person who can help them. And $10 a day is how you start. I'll start when I earn more, when I pay off this debt, when things calm down, when I feel ready. This is one of the most sophisticated forms of self-sabotage because it sounds responsible. It sounds like planning, but it's not planning. It's postponing dressed up in reasonable language. The truth is, there is no perfect moment. There is only the moment you decide. And every month of delay has a specific, calculable cost. Waiting just 1 year to start costs you roughly $75,000 to $90,000 by retirement. 1 year, one decision, nearly 6 figures gone. And here's the final psychological piece. The moment you begin investing, even $10, something shifts in how you see yourself. You stop being someone who wants to build wealth and become someone who is building wealth. That identity change is not small. It quietly reshapes how you spend, how you think about money, how you talk about it. Investors think differently than non-investors, and that difference compounds just like the money does. So where does the $10 actually go? The simplest and most proven approach, an index fund that tracks a broad market index, something that holds hundreds or thousands of companies inside a single investment. When the global economy grows, your investment grows with it. You don't need to pick winners. You don't need to watch charts. You just need to show up consistently. Most investing platforms today allow you to start with as little as $1. Fractional shares mean $10 buys you a piece of any fund, regardless of its price. Set it to automatic, same day every month, and then let time do the work that no analyst, no guru, and no trending stock can replicate. Now let's stop talking about numbers and talk about what the numbers actually mean. $54,000 at year 10 means you have real options for the first time. An emergency that would have destroyed you financially doesn't anymore. $178,000 at year 20 means your children's education doesn't have to start their adult lives with debt. $440,000 at year 30 means you can look at your job and choose it rather than need it. $1 million at year 40 means the person who started with $10 a day now has genuine financial freedom. Not just security, freedom. You don't need more money to start. You don't need more knowledge. You don't need to wait until things feel stable because they never perfectly do. You need $10 and a decision. Alex made that decision at 22 without knowing what it would become. You can make it today. Automate it, forget about it, and let the most powerful force in personal finance, time, do what it does best. The best day to start was the day you first heard about compound interest. The second best day is right now. If this video changed how you think about money, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper on building real wealth, subscribe. We're just getting started.